Yes, this month's energies are going to be quite intense for you. Let's have an aligned astro chat about it. Shalom all, I'm Stacy the Black Feather Intuitive, and welcome to your transformational tarot reading as part of my Black Feather Couture Divining a VIP Life series. Aquarius, I am so excited to be connecting with you guys today. And we have got quite a bit of energy that we need to work through. I've been feeling it coming off of the cards already. So we are going to start with an overarching theme for you from the Self-Sorcery Oracle from Lisa Lister. And then I am pulling cards for you from Tarot of the Moon Garden. And I apologize, I do not have a box for that at this time. It's a box within a box. So without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, so we are going to pull an overarching theme for this month for you guys. And I really do feel like this month is going to bring about a lot of breakthrough opportunity, but it's not going to come without some work and some effort. And I feel like that work and that effort that's going to be coming up and coming through for you doesn't mean you have to do it all by yourself. I feel that you are going to have helpers along the way, but I do feel that you're going to need to ask for that help. So let's see what we got. Forever in process and progress. Oh my God. So Aquarius, this could be me. I swear to God, this is how I feel. This is how I've been feeling for the last 2 weeks. So I totally get this. Okay. So here's the thing. We can look at this and we can sigh, just like what I did, roll the eyes and go, oh my God, for sure. Or we can look at this and say, you know what? This is actually the point of life. You know, life is about being forever in process and in progress. And so this doesn't have to be a bad thing. This doesn't have to be the stern look. This can actually be the, oh, okay, well, then I'm doing life right. You know, there's something going on that's right here. You know, I'm seeing it as wrong or bad or, you know, not the greatest, but I don't need to see it in that way because actually I'm doing something right because of the way that this is and because of the way that I'm feeling. Also, I want to say to you, there's something really significant about the fact that you being in process and in progress says that you are aware of the fact that you have responsibility and accountability for your actions and your choices. You're not shying away from the journey of life, the self-awareness journey that sometimes takes us into, you know, really not so fun places to explore. Like those places when you have to say, oh, fuck, I really screwed up there. You know, ooh, I said the wrong thing there, or I could have handled that so much differently, or, oh, you know, whatever. It takes courage to do that. And I wish that society allowed for that to become more normalized and mainstream. But that's what you're here to do. I feel like you're going to make this normal. You're making this normal because the bottom line is everybody is this way. We just hide it. We're hiding in plain sight. So you're just going to normalize it, which I think is fabulous. All right. Currently, where are you at in the present moment? Where are you right now in this transformational journey? What part of you is shifting, rising, or dissolving? Now, let's see what we got. Strength. Yeah, you've been doing a lot of ego work. And I feel like with that ego work, there's been a lot of aha moment for you in where you've maybe bastardized yourself for being an ego and recognized, no, actually, that's exactly where I was supposed to be. Or, you know what? I actually am really glad that I handled it in that way or that I approached it in that way because it taught me this or that about myself. I also feel like when we're getting this strength card, there is still a lot of stuff that I feel for you in August is coming up around childhood crap. Drama, nonsense, frustration, things that were left undone, things that you felt were never addressed in a way that was satisfactory to you. This could be sibling things, you know, sibling rivalries or arguments that you've never really been able to resolve with your siblings. And you know what? No judgment. You know, you can be 13 or, you know, 83 and still talking about the cake that your sister, the piece of cake that your sister stole that you were waiting, you know, so long to have, and it was your piece of cake and all the rest of it. And yeah, we could say from an adult perspective, it was childish, But really what I feel the Strength card is coming up and coming through to say is there's still a wound here. You're still wounded. If you're still talking about it, you haven't gotten to the heart of it yet. What's the heart of it? The heart of it is, sister, you lied. You didn't do what you were supposed to do, or you lied and you got me in trouble, or you took something away from me that I was really looking forward to. And I just want you to acknowledge that, right? So I feel like where you're at presently is the things that are coming up from the past, things that are, I want to say, kind of ruminating in your mind or cropping up, in your dream state. They're all coming up because you want to dig a little deeper and get to the heart of it. You're missing the boat. It's like you're skimming the surface, or you're getting caught up in the story of what the issue, the story of the issue rather than the actual heart of the issue. And the Strength card is coming up to help you with that, to say, let's kind of see the forest for the trees. Let's really do, rather than the cursory deep dive, let's do a serious deep dive with the intention of getting right to the heart of it so that I can let it go and be done with it forever, because it's just soul sucking. It's just taking up space in my head and my heart that doesn't need to be there anymore. The catalyst, what's fueling or hindering your transformation? And is this resistance or is it rocket fuel? Let's see. 7 of Pentacles, reaping rewards. So I definitely feel that this is rocket fuel for you, but what's interesting about it is I see it's like rocket fuel that's being transported from one thing to another, and you're in the limbo of it, and I feel like maybe that's kind of what we were talking about here is I'm putting so much time and energy and focus into this thing, but it's not getting me anywhere. It's not serving my purpose. And if I had this fuel over here, I could really do a lot more. So now I've made the decision to work on this, to release this. Now I'm in limbo. The fuel is en route to where it is I need to be, but I'm already standing here and I'm like, oh my God, like I'm champing at the bit. Let's just get there. Let's get there. The 7 of Pentacles, I feel, also is going to come in the form of an invitation for each of you. Wow, this is oddly specific. So this might be for some of you or one of you. The invitation is going to be connected to a doctor or a doctor's office of some kind. I feel a male energy delivering the opportunity. Feels like there's going to be quick succession. If you say yes, there's going to be a lot that sort of happens to move forward. I want to say to you, this isn't, in terms of a doctor, it's not a health journey in regards to, I want to say anything negative. If it's like a job type situation, I would say it's that you're starting the job like tomorrow. That kind of energy is coming up and coming through. For those of you that the doctor thing doesn't resonate with, I still feel that you're going to receive an invitation by somebody. And that invitation, if you choose to say yes to it, I feel opens you up to an entirely new path that wasn't available to you before. And it feels like the path is going to broaden your horizons, but it's going to broaden your horizons only as far as you allow it to. So I really feel like this is going to be kind of like a self-driven thing, a self-made thing. I'll use the analogy of, being given a free course. It's an incredible gift to be given the free course. That free course isn't going to do anything for you unless you actually take it and do the exercises and learn the stuff and watch the videos, right? So you're going to gain from the opportunity or the invitation as much or as little as you choose to. And I feel like in that regard, you are the catalyst, right? Like there's an event that's going to catalyze you, but then your choice around how to engage with it is really the fuel, the rocket fuel, that's going to get you where you need to be or not, depending on what you choose. Deep root. What deep belief, wound, or soul contract is driving this transformation under the surface? Oh, your second 7 in a row. So 7 of Staffs, which is 7 of Wands in this deck. So 2 7s in a row. You're definitely at a place in your path and in your process where you're at, I like to call it the prototype before you go into mass production. So you've created this prototype. You're about to mass produce it. Before you mass produce it, this is the opportunity to dot all the I's and cross all the T's, to triple check, to make sure that it's got all the bells and whistles, all the things, that it's working right, everything is in order, because once it goes into mass production, it is a lot harder to undo mistakes and errors and, all the things and the stuff. And the Seven of Staffs or Seven of Wands, I feel when we're talking about this deep root energy for you, is it's about knowing that you've got messaging, knowledge, information that others need from you or others want from you. And there's a fear for you that if you give that information to them, you become obsolete. Again, deep wound, subconscious, not necessarily something that you're fully aware of. But this is what you're looking to discover and explore here, is getting to the actual heart of the issue. I feel like there's a strong energy here about you mattering versus not mattering. You making a difference versus not making a difference. And with this Seven of Staffs coming up, I feel like when we're talking about the, maybe the soul contract connection to this, it's understanding that you have come here with a deeper sense of wisdom and knowledge than others have. But you also came here to share it. And I want to say to you, a good school of thought is share what you feel called to share without any expectation of how it's received or what you're going to get on the other side of it. And if you don't feel comfortable with sharing it without receiving something on the other side of it, then don't share it. You can share when somebody says, oh, and I'll give you this and I'll give you that. If they don't give it to you, you haven't set the expectation to be disappointed, right? So I feel like this is a bit of discernment for you in understanding that I get to choose what I engage in, what I offer to others, how I choose to offer it, who I choose to offer it to. And therein lies my power. That's my power. The knowledge itself is maybe not mine. The knowledge I've earned or has been given to me, but there are other people who have that knowledge as well. It's just there are people that are coming to me for this knowledge. I don't own the knowledge, but I absolutely own the way that I share it, the way I choose to share it, or if I share it at all. So I feel like this is kind of the deep-seated wound that maybe you've been dancing around it for a little while. But I feel that it's going to come to the surface. And I'm actually hearing the 10th or the 11th of August as being significant days around this wound recovery or this wound discovery. Take that for what it's worth. Our timing and divine timing are often two different things, so don't hang your hat on it. But it's just what I'm receiving right now. So if it resonates with you, awesome. Take what works and leave the rest behind. This is what's dying away for you. What part of you is falling away? What role, pattern, or identity has run its course? This is going to be a big one. Yeah. Judgment. Oh my goodness. So there's something connected to this wound that you keep having regret over a choice that you made that caused this fear. This thing happened and now you've got this fear. So judgment is typically a card of choices, decisions, right? Like you're at a choice point. Do I go one more kick at the can? Or have I completed this pattern and cycle, this process, and I'm now ready to move on to the next? That's basically what this is about. It's the second to last card in the major arcana. So it is the choice point. Have I completed this part of the Fool's Journey, or do I need to go through the process again because there's something I didn't quite learn? And I feel like when we're talking about what's dying away, it's you recognizing that you often go back to a place where you made a decision based on the information that you had at the time, with a very open heart, with a very trusting heart. And shame on the person who didn't honor that. I want to say it's not your fault. It was an experience that you had, but it's part of your process to move from the judging yourself, the sadness, the remorse, the regret, into the, okay, what did I learn from that experience? How can I apply that moving forward and still have an open heart so that I can move into the next part of things? How can I let this not stop me from being who I am and who I want to be? And I feel like, as strange as this sounds, and you can gouge my eyeballs out later, I'm just the messenger. It feels a little bit like you're stuck in like a lower emotional maturity space or level. And what I mean by that is not that you are emotionally immature, period, end of story, across the board. This is sometimes what happens when we have a little bit of trauma. When the trauma is significant enough, let's say we were traumatized at 13, there's a part of our emotional growth that stops at that age 13 until you're able to process that and move through that experience. Whenever you are triggered and you go back to a situation that reminds you of that, you go back to your 13-year-old self in the ways that you respond or react to what is coming up and coming through. And I feel like that's what's dying away here. But it's dying away only if you acknowledge what it's showing you, so that you can then address this, process this, and move and make the choice to move on to the World card, rather than going all the way back to the Fool to go through the whole cycle again. I feel like the message here is you don't need to go back to the Fool to do the cycle again. You've learned what you need to learn if you get to the root of this and you're able to heal it and let it go. So the Judgment card, I feel, is the opportunity for you to recognize where you're maybe being triggered to go back to a different emotional maturity point about a certain thing. And once you have awareness of that and you choose a different approach to addressing it, then you're away to the races. You're good to go. Interesting. Okay, here's your highest Phoenix potential. What can rise from the ashes? What is your soul calling you toward? This is your breakthrough energy. 3 of Pentacles. Yes, asking for help. Here's the thing, Aquarius. You guys are all about community, but I find that so many of you kind of shy away from like being in community or seeking out members of your community for help and assistance. And part of it is because, you don't always see things exactly in the way that others see them. I personally happen to think this is one of your superpowers. But I also understand that, when you're dealing with a lot of humans, humans fear what they do not know and understand, right? And so you have often run into a situation where after a while, it's just easier for you to not have to engage with others or ask others for assistance in regards to things that you need or visions that you're trying to put into place. It's just easier for you to do it, because sometimes it takes a little bit longer to try and explain what you're needing. And then, half the time people don't get it. What I'm feeling here, though, is that is about to shift and change. And a lot of it is about you giving people a chance. Because you're healing these wounds, you're now saying, okay, I do have something to share. I do absolutely have something to offer. And the only way for me to share and offer it is to actually communicate it to other people, to invite other people into my process. Ooh, I love it. Full circle. So there's a lot I feel that is wanting to be birthed through you here in August. This is a choice point month for you. And I feel like when we're looking at this as breakthrough energy, I also want to say to you, I feel that the month of August, period, end of story, is a breakthrough energy month, especially with this Judgment card. So this is an invitation to let people in. Sometimes that can be a little hard. I'm going to say to you, the secret to your success there is to let people in without expectation of what they're going to get or not get, how they're going to receive what you give or not. And I'm not saying, give them your whole life story. I'm not saying reveal all your secrets. I'm saying open the door and share a little bit of your life with them. Share a little bit of what this process is. And just notice what you notice about their response to it or their reaction to it. Or maybe they have something to offer you as food for thought that helps you to break out of this and see more clearly the vision of where you'd like to go. So I feel like this is what's opening up for you. What's emerging? What's just around the corner? What energy or experience is coming in to support the next phase? We have the Page of Staffs, Page of Wands. So this makes a lot of sense because I feel like you are getting ready to birth something new. It's not fully ready to birth, but when it comes out, it's not going to come out with a big bang. I feel like it's going to come out and it's going to have this tiny little fire. And it's going to say, all right, I'm here. I'm ready. I'm ready to learn. Let's do this. This is kind of exciting. Let's play. And I feel like for you, it's important that you allow yourself to play, that you give yourself permission to not, I want to say just like off like a shot, get everything done all at once. Page of Staffs doesn't really wander as much as I would say the Page of Pentacles wanders, the Page of Cups wanders. Page of Staff doesn't wander, but I want to say this Page of Staff is wandering with a purpose. Like there's method to the madness, right? There's a particular herb in the garden that he's seeking out in the nighttime, and he's using his wand to light the way. And he's having to wander because he doesn't know exactly where this herb is going to be, but he's got a central focus, a central purpose. And I feel like that's what is emerging for you. You know, for some of you, you've been on track to reach your sort of your purpose and your goal for a little while. You're on track. You know where you're going. For some of you, I feel like you've been a little bit lost, a little bit like, okay, the thing I was working on and working towards somehow no longer seems to matter, or I've lost interest in it, or for whatever reason, it doesn't feel like it's needed anymore, but I don't have anything to replace it. And most of the time you're good about, you know, coming up with something new and interesting and different to replace it. You're okay with taking a little bit of time to meander. For whatever reason right now, I feel like you're being drawn to create a new direction for yourself. And I feel like the Page of Staffs is what is going to create that. So it's going to give you a somewhat of a singular focus to seek out, and you will be wandering in the process of seeking that thing out, but you don't have that thing yet. This is what is emerging. It's on its way. And it's on its way when you address the heart of this and you make the decision to move into the Fool's journey rather than going backwards. And for those of you who decide that you may want to go back and do one more kick at the can, go back around the Fool's journey to get back here again, that's okay too. I want to say, like, no judgment. We all have to choose what we need to choose. Just make sure that when you're making that choice, you're not making it out of fear. You're not making it out of staying in a cycle or a pattern that you're used to, that you're doing it because you genuinely feel that you haven't learned the lesson, or you don't get it. You don't understand. All right, this is you in this process. How are you navigating this transformation? Are you resisting, flowing, grieving, or boldly rising? Ooh, Two of Cups. Like I said, you are looking to have community. You're looking to be able to do these things and to bring these visions to life and to live this life and walk this path with true, meaningful connections. And I feel exactly like you are going to attract what you bring. You are going to attract who you are. And I feel like this Two of Cups is coming up to say, with all of this process that you're going through, it's important that you be you, that you shine your light and you do things in the way that you do them, because you're going to draw to yourself another you. And if we talked about this from a dating perspective, not everybody wants to date themselves. Like, let's be real. I don't mean it in that regard. But I will say to you, like attracts like. And that's what this feels like. It's the frequency shift that you are intentionally choosing that is allowing you to rise into that space. And now you're emanating that. You're putting that frequency out there. And now that frequency can be matched. Whereas prior to that, you've been putting your frequency out there and you've been getting people who've been taking some of the frequency because it's delicious, but they don't really match that frequency. They don't know how to reciprocate. They don't know how to give it back quite in the same way. Sometimes because they're just being miserly, but most of the time because it's just not who they are. You know, their frequency is different. It's kind of like if you're, always listening to 91.5, on the radio station, and you switch to 91.7, you're going to hear some things that are staticky. And then when you go to 91.9, you might not hear it at all. But the other person is still listening to 91.5, right? So it's that kind of energy. And I feel like that's really what you are. This is what you're wanting. You're wanting that true connection in relation to the vision that you're trying to create and how you're walking your path in the world. Yes, this can be romantic in nature, but I also feel like this just really speaks to the overarching levels of connection that you wish to have in your relationships and your engagements with others, period, end of story. And this is what's possible. This is what you're working towards. It's really about you and your process and progress that is elevating your frequency. And it's elevating your frequency to a place that you've not experienced it before. And so that's why you keep, sort of gravitating to other people that know the old energy, but don't quite match. You're moving up, breaking up and breaking through, or breaking out and breaking through into a new frequency. You're getting to know it at the same time that others are going to be seeking it out. All right, circles of support. Who or what is influencing your transformation right now? And is it positive or negative? Ace of Swords. Yeah, it's a new beginning. It's a new way of thinking for you. It's a new way of walking in the world for you. I feel that for some of you this month, from a career perspective, you are going to be doing a 180, or at the very least a 90. Not for all of you, but I would say about a third of you. There's going to be some major shakeup or shift up from the career perspective. It doesn't necessarily feel bad or daunting. It feels more like you've come to the end of your road and you recognize here and no further. Like, I'm not taking this to the next path or the next level. I'm ending this now and I'm moving on to something else because I don't want to be on the other side of this. I don't want to see what comes up and comes through on the other side of this. I'm done with my portion of what this is for me. And I feel like this is actually going to be extremely supportive for you in making this choice, because I feel like this shift is something that there's a part of you that always knew all along that you weren't going to complete this, or there was going to be some definitive expiration date, stopping point, whether it's work or a relationship or a course that you're taking. Take it how it resonates, right? But I feel like the Ace of Swords, like you're taking the sword and you're doing a swift break. Swift break, clean cut. And there's no sadness around it. There's clarity around it. This makes you happy. This absolutely supports you. And I feel like you're not making a clean break where you don't have something else to go to. I feel like the something else is right there. So you're making the clean break so that you can bring the other thing in. It's kind of like throwing out the old pizza boxes in the fridge in order to make room for the fresh new pizza boxes, right? The fresh new takeout that's coming into the mix. Hopes and fears. What are you dreaming of becoming, and what scares you about actually doing it? Yeah. You keep talking yourself in and out of it. There's a component of what you're going through here as well, where I feel like you are listening to somebody else. You're listening to someone else's opinion. And this person, the distraction is that this person's opinion carries weight because they are intelligent or they have some level of expertise in whatever area this is. So you tend to say, well, if they think this, or if they're saying this, then that must be truth. I must listen to that. I must follow that train of thought. Even if it goes against what I'm feeling or thinking about it, that must be right. And I want to say to you, no, I feel like this is not a situation where you want to listen to another person. And you don't want to listen to the ego voice either. You want to be very crystal clear about talking to your high self talking to that intuitive guidance, talking to your soul essence. Eight of Swords is a card of entrapment, but on the other side of it is a card of liberation. And I feel like when we're talking about your hopes and fears, this is what you're really looking for, is you're looking for liberation. You want to get out of this. You definitely want to be moving forward into something else. You're ready for that new. You've been on the journey for a while. You're getting a little bored. So it's time to bring something new into the mix. You've identified the issue, and now there's liberation around that. You know, we go from the 7 to the 8. So it's the natural next progression. What did I say about 7s? It's the prototype before we put it into mass production. Well, now the 8 is the mass production. I've agreed to this. I know where I'm going. I know what it looks like. I'm content with the progress that I've made on this. And now it's time to put it into mass production and see what happens. Swords energy is the way you're communicating it, also the way you're thinking about it. And you want to be thoughtful, but not in rumination. Rumination keeps you entrapped. Thoughtfulness brings you liberation. This is all about you. You have other people. Again, we have that 3 of Pentacles. This is what you're seeking, right? You're seeking out that true support, a community that truly like understands you, gets you, sees your vision, all that fun stuff. But you have to kind of get out of your own way with this too. Just because we discover a thing doesn't necessarily mean that instantly it's gone. We do have a process that we need to go through, but we can go through that process while we are working other things out. And I feel like this is an invitation for you to kind of get out of your own way around that. The universe wants to help you and wants to support you. So trust in that and lean in that. Lean into that. Accept the help. All right, now we're at the outcome of your transformation. If you choose to stay on course through August, who will you be on the other side of this journey? What is the result of embracing the full death and rebirth cycle? 3 of Swords. So I feel like you're really coming into a healed heart. You're coming into more awareness and understanding of the words that you say to yourself and the words that you say to others matter. And that it is, in the end, about communication. This is what you're going to learn through this process, is it's all about communication. Communication is going to be the healing salve or the healing balm that allows you to be able to rise out of all of this and to step further into making connections with others that are going to be meaningful and lasting. And what I'm seeing here is, you've got the 2 swords on either side. You connecting to the heart, they're connecting to the heart. And then there is the third energy that is created through the connection between the 2 of you. I always like to talk about like the Vesica Pisces, right? There's this person and there's you. There's an interaction that happens. You exchange energy. And what's in the center of that? You've got this little space in here that is the blending of those 2 energies. Energy doesn't die or dissipate. It just changes form. That becomes its own entity. That is its own energy. And I feel like that's what's coming up out of this, is the sense of you understanding, oh, the way that I communicate is actually the thing that's going to help me to nurture this relationship, whether it's a romantic relationship, whether it's a relationship with your sister or your best friend or your boss or your dog. No matter the duration of the exchange of energy, the duration of the relationship, there is this Vesica Pisces piece that is created. And I feel like that's the piece that you have been maybe missing. You've been overlooking it. You've been focusing on other things. And it has been connected to a wound. 3 of Swords typically is a card of heartbreak. So it is connected to the wound. But this is a healed heart. This is not a wounded heart. This is a healed heart. And it's being healed through the communications that you're having with new community people that are coming into your life. And I think you had 3. Did you have 3 threes? No, you had 2 3s. But that's enough. 2 7s, 2 3s. You also actually have two twos. You have the Two of Cups, plus you also have the Judgment card. And you had two eights. You had the Strength card and the Eight of Swords. So I want to say to you, there's just a lot of numerological synchronicity here, which basically says we double dare you. We meant what we said. We double dare you. And this is how we want you to move forward. OMG. My Aquariuses. Wow. Okay. So big stuff. This is a pinnacle month for you guys. Hang in there. Trust in yourself. Don't be afraid to address this particular kernel, the kernel of the heart of the matter, because that is the secret that unlocks and unravels all of the stuff and leads you into this next chapter. And this next chapter is going to be incredible. For those of you who are new to me, you may or may not know that I also do private sessions. So if you are running into some stuff and you could really use some extra guidance or support or a sounding board, please feel free to reach out. You can click on the link in the description below. I would love to help you out. Otherwise, guys, that's our Transformational Tarot for August. As always, sending you all so much love and transform well. We will see you on the flip side.